In Ontario, a stigmatized property refers to a property that has a non-physical, intangible attribute that may elicit a psychological or emotional response from a potential buyer. The Real Estate and Business Brokers Act 2002 REBA does not define stigma, but examples may include a property that was used in the event of a crime, a murder or suicide that occurred on the property was previously owned by a notorious individual, there are reports that the property is haunted, or a former grow-op which has been remedied according to the local health or building authority. When it comes to disclosure, sellers are required by law to disclose material latent defects affecting the property that are known to them. However, there is no legislation or case law in Ontario to suggest that a seller or their representative is required to disclose the existence of stigmas to buyers. As a result, registrants representing sellers should advise their clients to seek legal advice if they believe that a stigmatizing issue may become a factor in selling the property. On the other hand, registrants representing buyers who are concerned about specific types of stigmas are advised to conduct their own investigation, which could include an internet search and also making a direct inquiry to the seller or the person representing them. It's highly recommended that registrants and buyers conduct their own investigation and make direct inquiry. If a registrant is representing a buyer who is concerned about specific types of stigmas, the registrant could include in any offer a representation/warranty regarding the status of the property. However, a registrant cannot anticipate all the areas of sensitivity that an individual buyer might have. They should keep in mind that a seller may have no knowledge of the events that occurred before they own the property, or the property may have been rented out and they have no idea what happened during the rental period. Registrants must approach the subject carefully and use reasonable care and skill to ensure the accuracy and completeness of the information conveyed to the buyer and or their representative, and should consider documenting such responses. Now, this is where it gets a little complicated, and this has to do with the type of representation an agent or registrant may have with a client. In a multiple representation scenario, the issues become a little more complicated. Before the seller is asked to consent to a multiple rep, it must be explained that any information about stigma will have to be conveyed to the buyer as part of the brokerage's duties to the buyer as well. If the seller objects to this because they are also being represented by the same registrant, they should be advised that they do not have to consent to multiple rep. If consent is not given, the registrant must inform the buyer of this fact, and the brokerage will have to release the buyer to seek an alternative representation. So taking a proactive, communicative, and well-documented approach to stigmatizing issues will minimize the risk of buyers being uncomfortable with their home, filing a complaint, failing to complete a transaction, or initiating a lawsuit. In summary, while there is no strict rules for disclosing stigmas in Ontario, all registrants have an obligation to act with fairness, honesty, and integrity when dealing with others in a real estate transaction. Similarly, registrants must use their best efforts to prevent error and misrepresentation while still promoting and protecting the best interests of their clients. So if the person representing the seller is asked about any problems that might affect the property, they can either provide a direct answer without any conditions, or they can refuse to answer and suggest the buyer does their own research. That being said, if something is known, it's always best to be honest. This is the morally right thing to do, and it will keep you away from any friction that will occur later when found out. This information and more can be found at RECO.ON.CA. As always, if you found this helpful, go ahead and like and subscribe for more videos about real estate. If you would like more information specific to you or need to know what your home is worth, you can go ahead and contact me directly through my website at daniellebiagi.com, where you can also download any of my free guides and book your own personal energetic home clearing session. Don't forget to hit that notification bell to receive alerts when new videos are posted, and to see all my real-time content, go ahead and follow me on the social media platforms linked below.